Abortion's murder.
Yes, in a way it is murder.
When you have an abortion, I don't see it as a baby. It's still a fetus. It's still a bundle of cells, especially if it's early on in pregnancy.
I firstly should not even be speaking on this topic because it's not really about me. It's about women.
I believe that every baby is a miracle.
You shouldn't make a kid a mistake.
Women can do whatever they want to do. It's their bodies after all.
Let's call it for what it is. It's murder. It's abortion. But then you want to add a bit of sugar and a bit of honey to kind of take away from what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's abortion. It's murder. Let's not grey area it. Let's not sugarcoat it.
I spoke to people from both sides of the abortion debate, and I challenged each with questions the other side may ask. This happens to be an extremely complex human issue, so I thought it would be interesting to facilitate the conversation.
I think it's based on my belief. I'm a Christian.
Read Numbers. So Numbers 5 verse 20 to 22 actually discusses how if a woman is pregnant with a baby that doesn't belong to her husband can take her to a priest and he will make bitter water with dust from the altar or some shit, and it will force her to miscarry if the baby is not her husband's. So the Bible itself literally says if you think your woman is cheating, you can force her to have an abortion.
The reasons why people are pro-life or they ban abortions is due to religious reasons. But I think if you implement that on a state policy, many people have different religions, and because of that, they have different beliefs. And you can say that infringes on a person's right to religion. Like, I've learned a lot about my personal religion and their view on abortion, and it does differ to other religions' views on abortion.
Really? I would believe that most religions are against abortion.
So,
Educate me.
I'm Jewish, and there's a lot of laws around it, and on the outset, people think it's completely against, but there's a lot of different reasons why people ban abortion, and there's a big concept that the mother's life is the priority over the baby's until the baby's born.
For me, I'd say, keep the kid. First of all, you shouldn't make a kid a mistake.
When does one become a person?
Babies are babies. I don't believe in fetuses, or I believe that they're a life form from the beginning.
So as Christian, we believe that as soon as it's a fetus and your womb, that's a living thing. And
it's actually, this is the second Bible verse that I might quote, that God breathes the breath of life into you, so you can argue that it's when you take your first breath, which is only after you're born.
That the moment something starts to grow, there's life. Therefore, any attempt or anything that's made to kind of cut that short is murder.
I do believe it has a soul from the beginning. All the way from fertilization, I believe it's a life.
I'd rather you kill the living being before it's actually living.
I mean, living is subjective.
I'd say after 3 months or 12 weeks, I'd say it will be more of a pro-life. Okay? Because, you have 3 months to decide whether you want the baby or not. So, use that 3 months and decide and make a choice.
If you were to ban abortions on the premises of religion, and saving a life and stuff, I don't think that's fair, because many other people have different beliefs, and even people that aren't religious or don't believe in religion should have the right to have an abortion if that's what they see fit for their current life and for their ability to actually take care of a baby.
I don't think it's murder, because if we talk from a biological standpoint and we're going from fertilization all the way through the development stages, I don't think life necessarily begins until birth, because again, the classification of this is a baby, and it always comes down to this whole idea of would you rather sacrifice a baby or a petri dish of human cells? At the end of the day, if it comes to it, which one are you going to be actually choosing?
In cellular level, that's life right there. That's the beginning of life. That's life in conception right there.
You're saying that this baby has the potential for life, but it isn't alive yet.
If I had to give you a baby right now, would you get rid of it with your Christian values?
I have a baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't?
Looking at it, I have a baby. That means I didn't.
I know this may sound bad coming from a person like me, but the truth is we live in a country where gender-based violence is a major issue.
It also becomes a case of a lot of people like to make the argument of, okay, a child is conceived in the event of rape or in the abuse of some form of sexual abuse, but then the statistics simply just don't align with that sentiment.
Let's say you got raped, and then there's a 9-month period where you have to relieve this trauma and knowing that someone's growing in you. I know it's not the child's fault, but you could...
I feel that actually keeping the child can actually be a really healthy way to deal with that trauma.
Subjective. That is subjective, but...
I know that's very subjective, and I understand that it's quite like a intense statement.
Yeah.
But I do think that a way to deal with something is to go through it in a healthy approach and not to just block it out of your mind and out of your sight, which a lot of rape victims do. Survivors, excuse me.
But then I don't think there's one formula that works for everyone.
But that's why I'm saying there's more options.
Okay.
So I really believe that not even giving that life form that we just said was incredibly brought together, not giving that life form an opportunity to live, I think there's other options.
Statistics don't really support the argument of rape and sexual abuse as much as people, like we said, people just stumbling into sexual intercourse.
I think that's also very specific on the communities as well. I have a friend who's, when he was in his Ghani round in med school, the majority of the time spent in that, in those areas, in those hospitals, the Ghani rounds are 12-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids who they're doing rape kits on. And at the end of the day, I think that's you can't say that because of the stats. Because once a 12-year-old is, God forbid, raped, now for her to be pregnant and you say she has to carry that kid till full term and she has to have that kid and potentially even raise that kid, why are you ruining her life over it, her career, her schooling over that?
On top of that, I do want to say that I'm not for them passing laws that ban abortion.
But that kind of sounds counterintuitive. I get your perspective where you're they're going to do it anyways, might as well do it the legal route.
Yeah.
But then if you had it be your way, you wouldn't want them to do it at all.
I do agree, but I feel like people are human beings who have their own opinions and their beliefs, and if at the end of the day they're given all the information they're giving and they're educated to the max as they can be with all their options, everything they can do about it,
Pro-choice.
all of
You're not even brave enough to stand on your own 2 feet concerning your own ideals and your own agendas.
Remember 5 minutes ago when we said we both want kids?
What?
That's a choice.
We're talking about
That's
that.
a choice that I am ready to make when I am ready to make it. If I get pregnant at the age of 20, I am definitely not keeping that child.
And that's your opinion, that's okay. But if with my boyfriend I were to get pregnant now, I'd say to him, listen, it's my belief to keep it. And I feel that in the same way as I'm respecting your views, I feel that you also need to be respecting mine.
Of course.
No, but I'm saying...
I think
Of course, I
because
respect your views.
She respects choice. So it's you are making the choice, but someone that would make a different choice should still respect that. So it's in that brackets of pro-choice. Pro-choice is not only pro-abortion. It's you decide whatever you want to do, and pro-life is nah, boy.
I also think that no matter what, if a government or if a powerful whoever's controlling the health systems is saying you don't even have the option to choose, as a woman, I think that is horrific and very scary. And places, for example, in America right now, Roe v. Wade, state-specific, it's very scary. You should have complete authority over and autonomy over your body and your womb and your uterus.
Abortion help your life in any way. People have demonized having kids. What's wrong with that? We're all here because some people were brave enough to have us, right? Then why are we against it? And why are they calling it, what is it, pro-choice? Call it for what it is. Abortion, matter.
You have to look at where you are mentally, financially, physically, and it's everyone's own personal decision. What I may consider to be in a good state, someone else may consider to be a bad state. So I don't think you can even legalize or put that into paper. Someone has to have this income, this. It's a very personal decision. And I don't think it can be a generalized idea of what allows an abortion. It's personal.
It really does. It comes down to a case of your subjective truth does not change an objective reality. So it's a case of if you feel or you believe that, okay, choice, etc., etc., I mean, at the end of the day, it's murder. As simple as that.
The real question is, are you pro-life or are you pro-choice? Yeah, but you don't answer it on video.
I'm pro-life. No, I'm joking. I'm pro-choice. Like, for me personally, if it had to happen with me and let's say I have a girlfriend and she gets pregnant, I would, like, selfishly want to have the kid. But I understand the perspective and I understand that there's so much nuance to it. And yeah, I'm not one to tell people what to do.